Hello and welcome to the module on Chapter 14 entitled Communications in Organizations. First thing I'd like to say before we get into the chapter review is that I'd like you to realize that even though this is the last chapter we're going to be doing for this course, there are two more chapters, and I would recommend that you don't stop at Chapter 14 but go on to the next two. There are two chapters here that I think you will find very interesting. Chapter 15 is on management control systems, and it deals with all the activities an organization undertakes to ensure that its actions lead to the achievement of its objectives. These are all kinds of control systems. You can think of some you may be familiar with, like quality control. And so all of these control systems that a company sets up are very important because they're the things that keep the business running smoothly. Chapter 16 deals with managing operations and increasing productivity. And it focuses mostly on the managing operations, to be honest. The end result of managing operations is increased productivity. This chapter deals with the development and administration of the activities involved in transforming resources into goods and services. The operation of a business is to transform resources into goods and services, the things it sells. There's also an excellent appendix which follows these two chapters, which deals with entrepreneurship and small businesses. I think you might find this appendix very interesting. In the beginning of the chapter there is an introduction and then a section on what is communication, page 410. Then we go into the forms of communications, beginning on page 413. Then we talk about this perception and distortion in communications on page 418. And then we go into how we communicate in an organization, beginning on page 419. And finally, the barriers to effective communication on 424. This is a very important section because it really gives us a highlight into the various things that disrupt communication, that break down communication. And communication is very important. Our next section in the module is the quiz, and I would like you to review the Chapter 14 quiz study list included in this module. We've had very good comments before on how this list has enabled students to evaluate questions with less pressure and come to better answers. Also, there were a number of comments about how students use the list as they read the chapter to find the answers more quickly. Instead of reading the chapter and then looking at the list, it's better to read the list and then read the chapter, and as you read the chapter you will come across the sections that answer the list questions. Better to read the list first and read the chapter second than the other way around. The project for this chapter is to read Chapter 14 and again to create an original essay with a minimum word count of 400 words on the subject of communicating in organizations. In your first paragraph, using the material on pages 411 through 413, answer the question, what is communication? And incorporate the information in figure 14.1 in your paragraph. In the second paragraph, describe in your own words the forms of communication described in pages 413 through 418. Please underline or boldface the form names as you include them in this chapter. Base your third and fourth paragraphs on the case study, StarQuest Manufacturing, on page 426. In your third paragraph, answer question 2 at the end of this case study. In your fourth paragraph, answer question 3 and describe a personal experience where you have encountered communication problems. Problems either on your own part or on someone else's part. You need to add a total word count line at the end of your essay. It's amazing that after all this time I still get essays that don't have the word count at the end, and the people still lose points. Not a great idea. Finally, we get into the discussion, Chapter 14, feedback and comments, and I'd like you to again share your comments, questions, or suggestions that you've had that have come out of this module. I find these very interesting, and I'm hearing that in many cases students are interested in what other students have said. So keep it up. Have a great time with this module, and I'll talk to you again soon.